How is it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've had a bit of a hiatus these past few weeks, and that is because I'm getting married this weekend. So a lot has been going on. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I've been working on a project on the FRS that you can clearly see in the background here. It is no longer all red. Well, I guess technically underneath it's still all red, but we are wrapping the car and creating our own livery. It's my first time wrapping a car. I've done small motorcycle fairings in the past, and that was a pain in the ass. So when I first started this, I thought I bit off a bit more than I could chew, but we have been making it work. It's nowhere near perfect. There's adhesive lines, and my trimming could probably be a lot better, but from about 5 feet away, it looks pretty darn good, and I'm super happy with it. I've finished the trunk, the rear bumper, and the rear quarter panel on the driver's side, so all that's left to do is the passenger side. I'm not gonna show you what that side looks like until we are all done. So let's go ahead and jump to this quarter panel and finish things up. Before we lay any more vinyl down, let's talk about the design that I am trying to achieve. Obviously, you can see the gloss black vinyl that I have picked out. The idea is to have the back of the car black and transition back to the red in the front of the car with diagonal stripes. So as you can see, I've laid down one of the lines here with knifeless tape. I'm gonna do this in 2 different sections. So we're gonna wrap this back section of the rear quarter panel, and then once we have that done, we'll do the front section. Now, since on the passenger side we have the fuel door, I've already wrapped that and did a small inlay inside here just in case I have any jagged cuts when I wrap around the fuel door, so no red shows through. And then once we're done with this area, I'll lay down more of the knifeless tape and measure everything out, and then we can finish up with that. But let's get this portion wrapped, and then we can move on. I'm gonna spray everything down real quick with some panel wipe just to make sure it's clean and we get a good adhesion with the vinyl. All right, I've got a sheet of vinyl cut out to the size that I need. I'm gonna line everything up and hold it in place with these magnets. Now, before I actually lay this down, I'm gonna tell you guys ahead of time, like I said, this is my first time wrapping a car, so this is in no way, shape, or form a how-to video. The techniques that I use are probably very much flawed, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I am happy with how the other side turned out, so hopefully this side isn't too bad. So we're gonna peel the backing off of this once I confirm that I have everything where I need it to be. That should be good. Leave that there. Now the goal here is to lay down the vinyl as flat as possible without introducing too many wrinkles. You can use a combination of stretching and heat, but just make sure you take your time and you don't rush things because things can start to bunch up and it gets really frustrating and you just want to tear everything off. Trust me, I was like that when I was doing the other side. So definitely take your time if you're doing this. And if you need, just step away and start again. So you can see there, I kind of stretched it out just a bit so I could get this whole section to lay down flat. Yes, there are some wrinkles here, but we can fix that by just pulling out this section later on, or I could just, I guess, do it right now, like so. And we didn't even need to heat this up at all. I'm gonna fix this section here. Now there is a recess in this area, so I don't want to stretch this too much, otherwise I risk this edge here lifting up because it's stretched too much. So I'm going to be careful around there. This area, there's a lot bunched up, but we are going to be cutting and trimming this area since the head or the tail light is going to be going here. So now that I have it pretty much flat where I want it, I'm going to take my squeegee and lay down this edge here. For the area where I said it was recessed here, basically on the hip of the car, I'm gonna pick up the top section here to relieve any tension. And I'm gonna try to keep a little bit of tension just so that it's flat. And then I'm going to squeegee it into that recess. And you can see the knifeless tape go all the way down here. So on this side, I'm not too worried about it. I just need to get over the knifeless tape just a small bit so that both sides lay down. And now we are on the edge of the trunk area here. I've moved the vinyl back a little bit so that I could open the trunk because I want to be able to lay it down into this area here so that there isn't any red showing through. Now with this back section here with the sharp corner that contours the tail light, what I'm gonna do is lift up here and I'm gonna heat it a bit so that I can stretch it around this corner. And then I'll heat it a little bit again so that it shrinks on itself. I'm gonna take a glove, kind of smooth all this out. Some wrinkling there, so I'm gonna lift that up and fix that. There we go. This taillight section looks like a mess right now. It's not a big deal. We're gonna put a relief cut here. And then I'm gonna start laying it into the contour of the taillight. Now this area is all gonna be covered by the taillight, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I'd like for it not to lift up. Once I have that whole section laid down, we need to lay in this trunk section here as well, and then we can trim this off. I've got everything laid down pretty nicely, haven't finished trimming yet, but we're gonna cut this line here with the knifeless tape. Basically what it is a piece of tape with a thin filament underneath. So once we lay the vinyl over the top, we're gonna break the filament away from that tape, and I'm gonna pull down on it, and it's gonna cut the vinyl that's over the top. Now you don't want to pull straight up on this, you want to kind of pull at an angle to keep it kind of close to the vinyl itself. And there we go. And now we can pull this piece of vinyl off. You also don't want to forget to pull off the tape from the knifeless tape. And now we have a perfectly straight cut. I've got the back half of the quarter panel finished up and this small little corner here. The next step is going to be laying down the rest of the knifeless tape to transition from the black back to the red paint with those stripes. This is probably the most tedious part because you obviously want it to look like the other side. It doesn't need to be perfect because you can't see both sides at the same time, but you also don't want there to be any significant differences. So we need to measure everything out. The system I came up with to do this is to use fishing line. I tape this to the back windshield, run it down the side here, and then hold it in place with a magnet and make sure it's all aligned where I need it to be. And then I use this as a guide to lay down the knifeless tape so everything is straight and aligned. So I'm gonna get this lined up for the next line here, and then I'll lay down the knifeless tape, and then we'll work our way towards the front of the car until we get to the last stripe. We'll lay down the vinyl, and then we can get to cutting. I've got that fishing line measured out and where I need it to be, so now we can start laying down the knifeless tape. We've got one down, 7 more to go. Before I get too far, I do need to pop out this small section of the door handle here. On the back of the door, you're gonna see this small plastic cover here. We're gonna pop that out, and you're gonna see this little hole here. Inside that hole, there's gonna be a T30 screw, Torx bit screw. So all we have to do is loosen that, and then we'll be able to pull that little cover piece from the front of the door. I've got all of the knifeless tape in place. As you can see, I kind of go from thicker stripes to thinner stripes. That's going to be the black transitioning back to the red. Now all we have to do is lay down the black vinyl, and then we can cut it. I've got another piece of vinyl cut out. Unfortunately, instead of measuring twice and cutting once, I just cut. And this piece is a little bit too small to cover all of the lines, but I believe I should be able to get 2 out of this, and then I just have 2 left. So not a huge deal. I'm not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, right? We're gonna run with it. I don't wanna just waste the vinyl. I was gonna cut another piece, but we'll just use this and make do with it. Time for the knifeless tape to do its thing. This is probably my favorite part of wrapping this design, is using the knifeless tape and just watching it cut through the vinyl. It's super satisfying to watch. So to get it started, you just fold it over on itself, press one side down with your thumb, and then pull the other side, and that pulls the filament out from the tape. I've cut all the ones I'm able to, so now we can pull up what we don't need. Obviously don't pull up the wrong thing, otherwise you're gonna have to redo the whole process. Could definitely see myself doing that. We've got 2 stripes down, 2 more to go, but it already looks pretty damn good. Oh, I almost peeled up the wrong thing. Told you I could see myself doing that. Knifeless tape does wonders, guys. I just need to clean things up, trim the edges, and get everything tucked and put back together, and then we are set.
And that pretty much wraps it up, guys. I am more than happy with how this turned out. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and I'm kind of proud of myself. Having never done this before, I think it turned out pretty good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys are interested in doing this yourself, I'll link everything, or I'll leave a link to everything that I use in the description. As always, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.